I thought I'll start this first of our webinars with a broad topic, how to choose a food supplement. Normally when we get into a health food store, one of the things we feel is we are overwhelmed. And when we listen to the spokesperson there, it may be a salesman, sales lady, they explain a couple of things and you feel you have no choice but to take up on their advice, get a few products and leave. And usually 1 or 2 days later, you get more information from your friends or someone who's more informed, and you feel that you may have gotten something that you don't need, or you should have got something else instead of what you picked up at the store. And this can be a bit of a problem. So I'm going to cover that today, but I want to start right from the beginning. And I want you to have a look at the first slide. Yeah, that's right. Now, the first thing I think you may not ask this question, but it comes to the mind of all the people who are recommended supplements. Why do we need to take supplements? Is there a necessity at all? We are told that, many people will come forward and say, my grandfather didn't take anything, my father is okay, I've got a friend who doesn't take any vitamins and is full of energy, much more than me. Why do we need to supplement? I can think of 3 clear, definite, proven reasons. One is we live in a world today where the demand has gone up as far as our productivity is concerned. We no more work 8 hours a day. We work project to project, which means there is no time limit. Most of us work throughout the day. We even take the work back home, not only during the weekdays, but in the weekends also. This brings about a very simple concept. If you need to put out more work, you need to put in more nutrition. Just like a car, the longer distance you need to cover, the more petrol you need. So the number one reason would be increased nutritional demand on the part of us and our people here. Now, at the same time, because we started living in cities and large groups, food is no more grown by us. It is grown by a third party, and they are geared not only to feed them, but also to sell it for economic reasons. And for those same reasons, they need to produce maximum quantity at any rate. And therefore, food is grown. For example, a farmer specializes on tomatoes, and his soil will grow tomatoes one after the other, one crop after the other. This leads to a situation where agriculturists say a depleting of soil fertility. Now what happens after you grow tomatoes a couple of times? The sizes will decrease, the nutritional content decreases, and they don't taste that good. To make up for that, they use artificial fertilizers, which replaces the missing elements a little bit, but not all the basic qualities. The main one being minerals from the soil. Minerals are not synthesized, it must be obtained from the soil. It has been depleted by the previous crops. So the second reason why we need to supplement is we have decreased quality of food. When I say quality, I mean nutritional quality. Now the third reason is we are living in modern times and we have access to all kinds of food. 40 years ago, the Chinese eat only Chinese food, Indians eat only Indian food, and the stomach did not have as much a challenge as we have today. Today, everybody eats all kinds of food. No other animal on the planet eats like we do. Every animal sticks to its basic diet. And for this reason, we have exhausted, by the time we reach midlife, we have exhausted the full digestive capacity of our stomachs and intestines. So the inefficiencies that come in reduces our digestive ability and of course the absorption capability. Add to this on top that we eat outside at commercial places and we do pick up infections from there. The WHO says the maximum percentage of digestive system infection occurs in Southeast Asia. Quite understandable. All of us eat hawker food. Many of those people who prepare that food are clean, but there are people who are not that clean. So we pick up infections, which further decreases the digestive efficiency. So 3 reasons for supplementation. There has been an increased demand on our part during these modern times. At the same time, we have decreased nutritional quality of the food that we take. Add to that the inefficiency of the digestive system, we will be falling short of that. Hong Sang, can we have the next slide, please? Now, many people start taking food supplements and then they go out and eat anything that they want. Now, this is where we need to be very clear. Now, supplement, that means you already take something basic that is good. When you talk about a supplementary report, there is already a basic full report. Supplementation in the food industry means you supplement your basic diet, which is as healthy as you can obtain. Supplementation is basically to fill in the blanks. So the definition part that we need to be very clear is the negative one. Supplementation is not replacement. Okay. Now, next thing is this something that people do, or is it something that's very modern? Now, if you look at the history of societies in the past, there have been many civilizations, and if you look at their civilizations and the writings and the traditions that have been left behind with regards to diet, you will be surprised how many things they did. For example, each society, according to the area that they lived in, chose herbs that grew there and took it for health reasons. Now, mind you, those days their basic food did not have any fast food, so they were eating quite reasonable, healthy food, organically grown. In spite of that, they took herbs and herbal extracts. Of course, they made it into potions which they drank mostly. Technology was still very basic. They boiled it, steamed it, and made it into a solution that can be drunk, potions. They sometimes used it for rubbing on their bodies, for bathing, or just apply on the affected part and leave it for healing of that part. And then some of the stuff that was boiled or steamed are used for inhaling, so that our congestion in the nasal area will be relieved, we feel better. And of course, at the end of it, they ingest it. This is consumption. Now, they had a lot of various exotic preparations, and if you look up the old literature, there's so much to read. Now, this simply shows in societies that in times gone by have actually taken supplements. Of course, they did not have the technology to be in the form of tablets or injections, but as you can see, they had a totally different way of preparing it. But the underlying principle is they did supplement their diet. Next slide, please. Now, if you look at modern supplementation, because of the technology, we have it in different forms. It's basically the same concept, but presented in a more convenient way so that we can carry it around. It doesn't occupy too much of our space at home. We don't take too much time preparing for it, boiling something over 6 hours and so on, everything is done. And this is now available in the various ways as listed here. Now, injection wise, if you look at the second one, there aren't many because there's a little bit of pain for an injection. So only the very critical supplementation products or items are provided via injection. Inhalation, some of the things, for example, some hormone preparations are now can be taken by inhalation, and there are, you would be surprised, vitamin B12 sprays available. Applications on the body. Now, many of us do not realize that the skin on the body is not only a barrier, but it is also a carrier. So studies have been done. Now we can make some preparations because of the availability of nanotechnology. We can have creams or even lotions where you apply on the body and the skin absorbs it. And some supplements are provided that way. And last of all, we have a compromise on all this. which brings about the best of all this in a very convenient form, and that's in liquid form. Next slide, please. Okay, now that there are supplements are necessary. We need to take it. It is not a replacement, but it's an addition to what is missing in our diet. We walk into the food supplement shop, vitamin shop, or whatever we call it, and we are overwhelmed with choice. It is believed that throughout the world today there are more than 10,000 different preparations available from more than 1,000 different ingredients in different forms and combinations. Even the most informed person finds it a challenge on how to choose your supplement. So this can present a real problem. But this evening, I want to present to you just 3 simple keys which will allow anyone, even the very basic lay person, to choose. Next slide, please. Now, we should start looking at food supplementations as part of food. What is food? When you look at food, you can basically divide it into 3. One is something that all of us take every day, and so we call it basic. Now that will involve, when we say grains, grains can give us rice, chapati, or bread. All this come from grains. Now that is basic for anyone's diet. The amount that you need to eat may vary person to person, but you need a little bit of that. Veggie, all kinds of veggies depending on the area that you live in, fruits that are in season preferably, meat that you're used to. People in China are used to more seafood. Those who are in the Middle East area, more of goats, and those who are in the Western countries, more of cows, beef basically. So local meat preparation. Of course, the last thing is a real concentration, concentrate food, eggs of any kind, chicken, you can even have duck eggs. Now, these items are very basic. Then I'm sure all of you remember from living in your families, there are occasions where we go for very specific preparations of food. Somebody has a backache and they'll be asked to, boil oxtail or some other tail, make it into a soup and drink and get some relief. The concept is very simple. Your back is aching, it must be the bones and so on. Get somebody else's tail and your back should improve. Simple concept, did help a lot of people. It didn't help everyone, but it helped a lot of people. And if you look at the second one, for example, I think all Chinese are very familiar with this. After delivery, there's a lot of herbs to be boiled, and of course ginger is the main part of it. You boil and boil for a few hours, bring it down to 1 or 2 cups and have it, and lo and behold, they recover. You don't take this if you have not delivered. And so it's very specific. Second group would be specific. Then nature itself gives us foods in the form of mainly fruits usually, which comes in seasonal. Now if you look at the durian, if you eat durian all day, all throughout the year, you will have problems because apart from the nutrition that durian provides, there's a lot of fat and sugar which can very adversely affect your sugar levels, your cholesterol levels, and so on and so forth. So nature itself provides this in season. Mangosteen, same thing. Rambutan, same thing. So basically food can be divided into a basic group, a specific, and a seasonal group. And you would see that our supplements basically fall along the same lines. Next slide, please. I've highlighted the basic, specific, and seasonal. And if you look at the basic, you will find that vitamins, minerals, all that stuff, all the items in basic, you need every day. Fortunately, some of it is easy to get. For example, the one called protein. In Southeast Asia, protein is not a big problem. All of us eat some form of meat every day or eggs, and we get adequate amounts of protein. Now, essential fats. Many people cut down on their fat intake. In fact, fat is very essential for a satisfying meal. What we should take is healthy fats, okay, healthy oils, which comes under essential because This is required by the body. If you don't have enough fats, you can't produce all the hormones that your body needs, particularly sex hormones. Now, carbs, this is an area we could do with a little bit less. We eat too much of carbohydrates. And the last one is fiber. Fiber comes with any vegetable that you take, any fruits that you take. Now, I didn't mention vitamin, mineral, and antioxidant because this is an area that we fall short of. If you remember the second slide, I showed you how the quality of food has come down and the quality decreases in these three areas. Low vitamin content, low enzymes and therefore antioxidant content, and of course, without doubt, mineral, because mineral cannot be synthesized by the plant and it has to get it from the soil. So if it is grown in a depleted soil, it's not going to get enough of the minerals. Okay, that's the basic. Now look at the specific. I mean, this, I've just given two examples. A lot of people for joint problems, they take glucosamine. Of course, some people go on to take chondroitin, MSM, and so on. These are very specific for joints. Another example is circulation. You may have a poor memory, and if the poor memory is due to poor circulation, one of the things that's recommended is the extract of ginkgo biloba. One distributor asked me, what should I take for memory increase, or rather forgetfulness? I said ginkgo biloba, and he said, in case I forget to take ginkgo biloba, how do I go about it? Now, these are specific items. Then we come to seasonal ones. Though some companies promote ginseng on a daily basis throughout the year, actually if you look at the literature, it says ginseng and many of the herbs should not be taken continuously. It must be taken in an intermittent fashion. In other words, when I say seasonal, in many of these countries, these herbs grow during particular seasons and it is taken at that time. So for us here, we can say intermittent. So these are the requirements that are needed to identify the many products that you may be confused with when you enter a vitamin shop. Next, please. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the basic, I've taken off the protein and so on because we get that in our diets. The part that we are going to miss very badly are the vitamins, the minerals. Vitamins, let me tell you, the A, B, C, D, E is the basic vitamins and they perform very important functions in the body. Without them, the body can still move on, but in a very inefficient way. You will have low levels of energy, motivation will be a little down. So some of our brand partners probably need these vitamins in higher doses. The third one, antioxidants. It is now well known that antioxidants are very critical in minimizing our aging process. Now, the moment I say aging process, everybody is looking at how to grow young and so on. Now, before you come to the level where your aging process is affected, do you know that less of antioxidants can also expose you to a lot of illnesses? Your immune system will be down, so you can easily contract any infection like a flu. And I'm sure in Singapore and Hong Kong, people are worried about the current flu epidemic that's come out of China. And it is not only in China. There's also been a report that there's some kind of a flu virus going on in Saudi Arabia. Now, what this tells me is overall, people's immune systems are coming down. I didn't touch the middle one, the mineral. Now, there are about 70 minerals in our soil. It has been established that we need more than 60 of them for our enzyme reactions in each of our cells. Every enzyme reaction needs a mineral to activate it to its optimal. The enzyme reactions can go on without the mineral, but at a much lower level of efficiency. Take a simple thing like magnesium. When I qualified from medicine, say 40 years ago, we knew only about a dozen functions for magnesium. Today the list is reached 300 and we are talking about just one mineral. Okay, so this mineral requirement is critical, and unfortunately very difficult to get a preparation of minerals that are required by the body. Next, please. Now, if you look at the preparations available in the market, there has been a question by some people, which is better? I've got the same product in tablet form, powder form, intravenous transfusion, which is best? The last one is the best, IV transfusion. How many of us are willing to have a intravenous transfusion on a daily or even alternate day basis? You ask the person who is going for dialysis 3 times a week, do they enjoy that experience? I'm sure they don't. Now, what about the other ones? Now, the tablet form, powder form, or sometimes we need nutrition and they can't put it in one tablet. They put it in a couple of tablets. That's why I put it as multiple products. Now, this is excellent. It's convenient to swallow and so on. Now, is there a better way? Is there a more efficient way? Next, please. Liquid. That's the answer to the thing. I can think of only one negative thing for liquid. If you carry it around, what happens is, if you spill it, it becomes a problem. But you know what? With modern technology, we have come around to that, and I will tell you in a short while. Now, liquid is easy to consume. Whether you are a child, whether you are an elderly person who has swallowing problems, it's easy to consume. And you know what? Absorption is the highest for liquids. Of course, absorptions have been quoted at 99%, 90%. It all depends on the health of your stomach also. But for the same stomach, taking a tablet and a liquid, the liquid is almost twice as good for absorption than a tablet, simply because it's in liquid form, which is what the tablet becomes in your body. But here it is you can say pre-digested, and therefore a liquid preparation is suitable for all ages. Next slide, please. Now, here I would like to introduce our product, VeMMA. Now, what we have is a very unusual product for the simple reason you can't get a similar product in the market. Now, it is a liquid product. It has got the 3 basic things that I talked about: the antioxidants, the full range of basic vitamins that you need, and the mineral formula, which includes all the micro minerals that you need. Now, someone can just put all these 3 together, shake it up in a bottle and give it to you. Now, VeMMA did not do that. What we did was, we asked a physician who is in this industry to formulate it. And I'm sure you've heard about Dr. Wang, who is a physician. That means he is medically trained. In addition to that, he also has a PhD in the nutritional field. So he's a person who is very well qualified, and he has come out with this formula. Another doctor in America, Dr. Oz of Oprah fame, you all know that, he challenged us to say, hey, anybody can take a product, put a few vitamins inside and say this is good for you. He said, why don't you test your product? And you know what? We have tested this product clinically by a third party, not by us, because we do not have a facility for it. A third party. This was tested in a hospital on patients, and the VeMMA formula, okay? The VeMMA formula, not just vitamins and minerals, the formula that you will be getting was tested directly. It was found to be positive for several outcomes. What do you mean several outcomes? Now, there is an old Chinese concept saying heatiness of the body can breed diseases. So they take a lot of herbal extracts that cools the body. In those days, heatiness was the word. Today we know it is inflammation in the body. Latest medical science says that if you have inflammation in the body, you will develop diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, arthritis, and so on. Okay? That inflammation is identified in the blood test by a test called CRP. Okay, CRP. Now, they have done this test on patients who are taking VeMMA formula, and they find CRP levels come down. In other words, inflammation in the body is reduced with this liquid antioxidant vitamin multi-mineral formula. Okay. Now they also find that the immune system is boosted. Everybody says that. How exactly? The test is white blood cell. There are 5 types. There is one type that you can pick out, test the levels of that, or rather the count of that, and you will know your immune system is boosted up or not. That cell is called neutrophil, and in our clinically conducted tests, it was found that those levels of those cells have gone up after consuming this product when compared to before consuming it. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, we have a very potent product, and we want to make sure that we want to cover everyone. Everybody should benefit by it. But then the different requirements for different people do vary quite a lot in addition to the basic requirement. So if you look at the mid-level, you would see 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 2 ounce. What we have done is we have 4 different products, and we have added the basic magic formula of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to all the products. 1 ounce. What is 1 ounce? 1 ounce of the VeMMA formula will provide you 50% of your daily requirement, which means a full half of your 24-hour requirement of vitamins A, B, C, D, E, and minerals, microminerals, and antioxidants. Okay. Now, in addition to that, the different products have other functions, and I will just touch on it lightly. This is just to give you an idea of the broad spectrum of products that we have. The first one is mainly for youngsters. Well, it's for anybody actually, but youngsters get attracted to that. This is a fizzy beverage which not only has the VeMMA formula, it also has an amino acid called taurine, which supports your energy level. Unlike the energy drinks that are in the market, which will last for about 2 hours, this one has been experimentally proven to support energy levels in the body for up to 6 hours after taking it, while enjoying a can of drink which tastes as good, if not better, than any of the beverages. Now, this is not just a fizzy drink. It is a nutritional energy fizzy drink. Now, the second one is thirst. We play a lot, at least the young people, they sweat, and many of them don't like to take in water. We need to take in fluids. Additionally, because of your sweating, we need to replace the electrolytes, basically sodium, potassium, and so on. Now, this formula, which is called Body Thirst, also has 1 ounce of all the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Plus, it also adds electrolytes and a special kind of sugar called D-ribose, which supplies energy while you're playing. Now, the third one is something that everybody talks about but doesn't get down to doing it: proper weight management. We have a program and product programmed by world famous fitness specialists and products by Dr. Wang, which is the product that incorporates all the latest known scientific technologies that must be incorporated in a diet supplement. Now, that also has the basic vitamin, minerals, antioxidants, plus proteins, plus many other things. And this is an area you want to explore. Please contact whoever invited you for this to get to know more about this. The last one is what I would like to stress in this webinar, because that is something that you can recommend to almost anyone and everyone. That is the basic product. And we suggest a daily serving of 2 ounces. Why? 2 ounces will supply 100% of your daily A, B, C, D, E vitamins, microminerals, and antioxidants for the day. So you are absolutely sure that these 3 have been supplied. This does not mean you don't eat healthy in a healthy way. Make sure you do, because your requirements on that day may be more or less. So make sure you have a healthy diet. By the way, it has been found by experiments that those who have a healthy diet are the ones who benefit most from food supplement. So you want to get all the goodness of VeMMA, go on a healthy diet and consume it. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, I think I've said enough for you to ask me some questions. Now, before you ask some questions, let me answer some questions that are normally asked, and I'm sure you have thought of some of this. Can we have the next slide? Can an expectant mother drink VeMMA? Now, this is a little tricky for someone who's recommending it. What is VeMMA? Vitamins, minerals, antioxidant. Basically, it's food. So the question can actually be twisted around and said, can a pregnant woman drink food? The answer, I think you're very sure. Why I said it is tricky, when a mother is expecting, there are many things that are going on in the body. We do not want them to feel that if something went wrong, it was because of VeMMA. So I would suggest recommend the product to expectant mothers, give them the bottle, let them show it to their gynecologist and okay it. Okay, but I happen to be a male, but if I were pregnant, I will not hesitate to drink this. Now, what about my child? He's hardly 1.5 years old. Now here we have to put a very simple rule. Any child on a normal solid diet can take VeMMA. Okay, you can take it from the age of 1.5 or 2 right up to your last days. So anyone who's already on a normal diet, that means some rice, vegetables and so on, you can start VeMMA. Of course, there's always an attached question to this. How much do I give him? Now, let me roll back a little bit. Somebody asked, how much food should I give my 3-year-old? Obviously, you give probably a quarter of the adult. So you go by that. You have a 5-year-old child who's really big, you may need to give him more food. So you may need to give him 1 ounce. Okay, VeMMA is a liquid food. You give it according to the requirement. When you take extra food, what happens? You get fat. When you take VeMMA extra, the calorie count is so low, you don't get fat, you might waste it, that's all, you know. If someone is taking more than he requires. Now that brings us, the calorie thing brings us to, can diabetic patients drink VeMMA? Why this question comes up is, when you drink VeMMA, oh, it's very nice taste, you know, very sweet. Hey, it must be very high in calorie. Can I recommend this to a diabetic? Of course you can. Why? Because a diabetic is limited more by the number of calories he's supposed to take in a day. And usually they're restricted to about 1,002, a bigger guy maybe 1,005, along with their medication. Now, one serving of VeMMA is only 35 to 70 calories, depending which product you take out of the 4. Now, what happens? Let's take the maximum of 70. 70 is just a drop out of 1,200. So can a diabetic patient drink VeMMA? Not only yes, he must take it, because diabetics are very, very low in antioxidants. They are very low in their microminerals, because diabetic patients have poor digestion. They should be taking this. Next slide, please. Now, what about people with not just liver and kidney problem, any medical problem at all? Now, if you go medical problem by medical problem, it's a long list. The simple question to ask is, whatever medical problem you have, has the doctor advised you to alter your diet? If they say yes, then he has to check with his doctor before he takes VeMMA. But if the guy says, no, I can eat anything I want, they want me to eat only a little bit less, that's fine. That means he can take it. Most liver conditions, that's how it is. The problem comes only with kidney problems, because they cannot take certain vegetables, they cannot take certain vitamins, they cannot take certain supplements like protein. So these are the people who will have problems. Now, usually the kidney problem, we can narrow it down to kidney failure. If you ask me, kidney failure, they require VeMMA. The limitation here is many kidney patients who are on dialysis are allowed to drink very limited amount of liquids, maybe 250 ml per day. You need to check with them. So VeMMA 2 ounce must be counted as part of that. Now, is it safe to drink more than the suggested serving per day? It is safe, but you don't need to take so much. Can you take 5 pounds of meat per day? I'm sure you can on a good day, but you don't need to take it every day. So VeMMA 2 ounce per day is adequate. However, I would suggest some patients to take more. Why? I think it comes under the next question. Can cancer patients drink VeMMA? Should they drink VeMMA before, during, or after chemotherapy? Now, cancer patients require more nutrition than normal person. Why? The cancer cells are growing very fast. They will suck all the nutrition from the body to supply to the cancer cell first. That's why even though the patient is starving, cancer cells will be growing. You can see the patient going thin, but the cancer is growing. Now, these people require more nutrition than normal. And during when you have cancer, their appetite is very poor. So at a time when they need more food, they can't eat even normal food. The best thing would be to take something that's more concentrated, easy to handle by the stomach, and that would be VeMMA. Should they drink VeMMA before, during, or after chemotherapy? All 3 stages. Now, let me say that for cancer, you can have surgery or radiotherapy or chemotherapy. Now, radiotherapy and chemotherapy target cancer cells, and therefore they make them weak, and you need a strong immune system to finish off the cancer cells that have been weakened by chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Guess what would promote immune system health? VeMMA, food supplements. So can cancer patients drink VeMMA? Yes, yes, yes. Should they drink VeMMA before, during, or after? At all times. Okay. This is our one more slide to go. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. Before I finish off this, there are some other questions that have been coming in. A stroke patient with diabetes, what is the dosage? Now, try not to speak about VeMMA with words like dosage. This is not medication. Medication, 1 tablet, 3 times a day after food, that is dosage. When it comes to VeMMA, it's a serving. Now, a stroke patient with diabetes, what is the suggested serving? Now, 1 serving should be enough. However, someone who has come to this stage, they usually have, you can say, overdraft in their body. They have been short on nutrients throughout don't know how long, So you would need to top up that. Now, for doing that, I would suggest 2 servings of VeMMA per day for the first 1 month, and then subsequently you go on maintenance by taking just 1 serving. We have one more question, another question here. How many cans of WRF can we take per day? Now, WRF per can has 1 ounce of VeMMA. So you can take up to 2 cans per day safely. Okay? Can you take more? Yes, of course you can take, but it will start affecting your normal appetite, and that's not what we are aiming to do. We want to support you by giving you nutrition. Okay? How about arthritis? Now, arthritis is a condition that can vary according to different serious levels. Those who are in the early stages can recover faster than someone who's already got advanced arthritis. The worst case scenario is you got to replace your joints by metal joints. So, okay, so this is a very broad question, but in all the situations, whatever treatment you are doing, you will need minerals. You see, when you come to bones, it is not just calcium and magnesium. You need all the micro minerals. One of the latest products on the medical side is a mineral called strontium. Now, it is described as a medicine and it helps to reduce osteoporosis. Now, in our product, we have strontium, all the micro minerals. Many of these things, if we take it earlier, before problems come, we can actually avoid it. So how about arthritis? Yes, arthritis patients should be taking VeMMA. Now, there is also a feedback. There's someone who's taken VeMMA and the person had some stomach irritation, particularly someone who is not well already, a little weak. In fact, I would suggest that you take VeMMA after food, because in 2 ounces, we have concentrated your full day's requirement. And when you take it on an empty stomach, not all stomachs can take it. Some stomachs will get a little irritated. So they can react by causing discomfort and so on. This doesn't happen to most people, but we don't know who will experience this. So it would be safe if you say right from the beginning, take it after food. Now, there have been some concerns about the labeling that we have. Now, one concern is, why is there warning, precaution on the VeMMA label for children under 6 and pregnant women? Now, VeMMA is marketed in 50 different countries, and we have been trying to our best to come up with a single product, bottle, or rather single bottle that can be used in all the markets. There are markets where no matter what product you put out there, you need to say that children, please be careful with children consuming it. Pregnant women, please consult with your gynecologist before you take it. So this are local requirements, and when they are brought to a country which doesn't require that, it may cause some concern. But let me reassure you, there's nothing to worry about for children. It is just a label requirement, and that's why you find it on bottles. Now, there's another question about diabetes type 1. Now, type 1 is the type that comes when you're very young. Usually teenagers or even younger, small babies also can get. And so this is called type 1. In type 1, there is no insulin being produced or the amount of insulin is so low that they need to replace it by insulin. Now, insulin till now can be administered only by injection, and fortunately there are many types of injections that have come that are hardly cause any pain or discomfort. Now, how about these people? Now, these people need to take VeMMA more regularly than the older people who get diabetes. These are young people who have got diabetes. They're going to live for the next 50 years, 60 years, even more. Now, the chances of all the complications of diabetes coming up is greater in this group than those who get diabetes when they are old. So, more so for these young people who have diabetics type 1, they should be taking VeMMA regularly, preferably double servings if possible, because these are young growing people. Nutrition is more, requirement is more, and therefore they should take more. Now, in all this diabetic thing is something, when you recommend this product, make sure they continue with their medications and their dietary restrictions. This taking VeMMA doesn't mean you can eat what you want, stop taking your medicine, and diabetes will go away. No, it doesn't work like that. Ours is food. Food helps the body to strengthen itself. It doesn't cure diseases if you already have it. A female customer of mine asked, will taking VeMMA cause more discharge? That is a question. Now, I presume the discharge he's talking about is vaginal discharge, you know. Okay. Now, taking any nutritional product shouldn't cause any ill effects in the body. If it causes ill effects, it has been contaminated with something that is causing the problem or something else. And by the way, this gives you an opportunity to say that our products do not even have preservatives. We keep it so clean. No preservatives, no coloring matter, no taste enhancers, no stabilizer, no chemicals at all. Okay. So when you take a lot of nutrition, the body, if it is very toxic, can start discharging what the body needs to discharge through several means. One is the nose. You can get a lot of mucus coming out. Some people have eye discharge, and some people may experience increased vaginal discharge. Now, if the discharge is clear and even if it is copious, if it is clear, it's okay. But if you think it is infected or very thick or it is causing problems, better see your gynecologist, because the discharge may have some added infection which needs to be treated. There's a question here. 66 years old diabetic patient taking 1 serving of VeMMA. Is it enough? If the patient has just started, I would say take 2 servings, one in the morning, one in the evening. After 1 month, you can go back to just 1 serving. Yeah. Any other questions that you have?
Hello, Dr. Abraham.
Yes, Saul, Hong San.
Yes, I have a question. Is there any food or nutritional supplement that you can't actually take together with VeMMA? Maybe it will cause some kind of stomachache or some kind of disorders.
Can they hear your question?
Can you guys hear my question? Yes. Can you guys hear my question?
Okay.
Yes.
Just to be on the safe side, I'll repeat that question. I'm already taking VeMMA. Can I take any other food supplement? Oh yes, you can. You can take the same type of supplements, in which case I would say it is a waste of money. But you may be required to take some specific supplements. As I mentioned earlier, let's say you have a knee problem and somebody has recommended glucosamine. Please go ahead and take it. Your glucosamine will work better because you're taking VeMMA. So what we have provided in VeMMA is the basic requirement by the body. So whatever else you take, it will only improve the effect of that. So it could be a liver problem, it could be any other problem. You could take any other supplement.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Abraham, for answering my question.
There is a specific mention about lupus, SLE, lupus. Now, this is a illness which is a situation where the immune system of the body, instead of attacking foreign agents, is beginning to attack its own cells. That's why it's called autoimmune disease. And there are many autoimmune diseases. This is one of them. Can they take VeMMA? Yes. Because here there is destruction of cells and renewal of cells going on at a higher rate than normal. And you need nutrition, extra nutrition. Okay. So yes. Now, if you have lupus, I assume that you're already on medical treatment. Please follow up on that. If you're not, make sure you go back and get a follow-up. Now, if you feel that you do not agree with what the doctor is doing, that's fine. Go and see the doctor still. Discuss it with him. Tell him what you want. Be a cooperative patient. There are many doctors out there who are willing to modify the treatment according to your requirements. Okay? Okay, there's another query. How about atopic dermatitis? Now, this is a condition where the skin is reacting to something. What it is reacting to, we don't know. Now, if you take nutrition and the reaction is because the body is experiencing a decrease in nutritional requirement, you will get relief. And this is what we hear excuse me, from patients who feel completely relieved with our product. Now, it doesn't mean it works like that for everyone, because the reason for the reaction, the dermatitis, may be different for someone. But whatever it is, when you are reacting to something, the initial reaction is the body tries to cope. So when you have adequate nutrition, it is in a better position to cope. Of course, the body may not be able to cope 100%. You will still need medical treatment, but it doesn't mean you take the medical treatment in place of nutrition. You should take it along with nutrition. So for a condition like this, even if you need medical treatment, please go ahead and take VeMMA. What is the maximum number of servings a healthy person can take?
Caffeine servings, Dr. Caffeine.
Oh, okay. Now, each can of Verve has got about 75 milligrams of caffeine. 75 milligrams of caffeine is about what you find in a normal kopitiam cup, which is a small cup. Okay. Now, how many cups of coffee do you normally tolerate? 2, 3? Well, then that is the maximum Verve that I would suggest for you. If you're one of those coffee guys who can take a lot of coffee, then you can take more Verve. Now, by the way, the caffeine in Verve is not extracted from coffee. It is extracted from guarana, which is a pure organic, better quality caffeine. Better quality in the sense it has got better physiological effects. Now, just an extra bit of info on coffee. Coffee consumption has gone up around the world to the extent that many people are now growing coffee to satisfy the increased demand. Okay, so to make this coffee grow faster, quicker, in larger amounts, widespread use of pesticides has come into the picture. And mind you, many of these chemicals get into the coffee. Now, coffee is served hot. When anything is hot, these chemicals seep into the drink that you take. So when you take coffee, this is something you need to keep in mind. And this is where I would say our caffeine is from guarana seeds. There are no chemicals. This is something that I can attest to because I went to the factory and all ingredients are checked for chemicals, for pollutants, and so on. And the biochemistry tests, I can't list it here. More than 100 different tests, biochemical tests are done for all the ingredients that we use in our products before they go into the production. Now, I'm guessing here, but this question may have come up because in literature we see that high doses of caffeine can cause problems, and that is true. And that is why you're not asked to drink you're asked not to drink too many cups of coffee. Okay, so how many Verve cans can you take? It will depend on the number of cups of coffee that you can tolerate. Some people cannot tolerate any caffeine at all. Very few, but there are people like that. Now for them, I would suggest don't take Verve. Okay, you cannot get caffeine drunk with Verve, if to put it bluntly. Hong Sang, any other questions?
Okay, with that, we would like to conclude this webinar session. We thank you for your attendance and participation. We will
Thank
keep a
you.
lookout for our future webinar dates. Remember, being a positive difference starts with people helping people. See you next time and have a good night.
Good night.